All right, so it's been a while since I recorded. Um, Here we go. This is Lantern versus Burn, and so I don't know what my opponent's on here, and I decided to keep the hand mostly because the whir, according to the spreadsheet, especially with the spreadsheet that only considers whir data. Whir is a very is the most important card to have. So, and I play the Shredder first, of course. There's no reason to play the Needle first. I don't know what they're on, so. And so they're withholding information really good on them. So I go to really, I think I should have played the needle off, tap Sanctum, just to fake that I have a discard spell. But what I'm doing here is I want them to fetch and have that give me information. So they do fetch, and that's not enough information for me. I'm not satisfied with that. They could be on a whole bunch of things, Mardu Pyromancer, or probably not, and probably not Hollow One, but still, something. So I want a little bit more information. So I mill and see Goblin Guide, and I'm like, okay, they're on burn. So of course the obvious land to name here, or a card to name here, is Arid Mesa. What's funny is my opponent runs 0 Arid Mesas. So there's an Eidolon. I do run 2 Collective Brutality main. This is one of the main reasons why. Well, I mean, that in the data shows it's right. So what I want here is if I play the bridge, I take 2 damage, and they can still attack under bridge. So it's not going to help me much. So what I want to do is I want to whir for a lantern here, and then I'll draw another card next turn. I can Brutality their Eidolon, and then pitch whatever I draw next turn to pick a card out of their hand or gain life depending on what I need. And probably pick a card because I'll save more life that way. And then I can whir for a Witchbane Orb and win the game. That's the plan with this so far. So that's what I decided to do. That, and if I whir for 4 right now, I don't take damage from Eidolon, and I set up the lock. And that shows they have a Searing Blaze on top. So now they don't know that I have another whir in my hand. So yeah, now is the time to kill the Eidolon and go for the discard mode. Now, they could do 2 things here, and I think I understand why. So they saw me play 1 word, they saw me draw another one. I'm guessing they don't think I have another word in my hand. And what they want to do is save their stuff, because that Eidolon is going to be, or an Eidolon, or this Lavamancer is going to be very important. So I figure they think that I probably have something to kill creatures. So they play Lightning Helix in response here. And that way they get to keep a Boros Charm no matter what. And that'll help them by giving their dudes indestructibility, the Lavamancer indestructibility. Because, and yeah. So I think that's why they played the Helix instead of a Charm. And yeah. So I go ahead and play the bridge now. I'm still going to take some damage here, but I feel pretty good that I can whir for a Witchbane Orb long before I die here. I do have to mill myself into a land, and the Spire of Industry is going to hurt. Now I'm thinking about milling this Rift Bolt, and they decide to draw before I get a chance. They draw beforehand, but I decided not to make them take it back. It's all good. because counted out and I'm like, okay, if I hit a land, I can easily whir for Witchbane Orb and I'll be okay. But I need to make sure I can also empty my hand here. So I really need to draw a land that comes into play untapped or an opal. So I'm feeling okay with it. Like fine. And I mean, if I lose because of it, oh well. Like they really should have let me have a chance to mill it, but it's okay. So I'm on myself and I see this land. Now this provides a very interesting step in the game. So they have a fetch land in play, and I have a River of Tears on top. If I draw the Tears and I play it, it's not going to tap for blue, so I can't whir immediately. Um, so that forces me to have to use Fire of Industry for my third blue, which puts me down at 2, which puts me in range of dying to Grim Lavamancer. But I know their top card and I know their cards in hand. So I know that I've actually got this no matter what they do. Um, if they try to Lavamancer me on my turn, or in response, so what I'll do is I'll draw the River of Tears, play River of Tears, tap it to play Gold Caller's Bell. So I'll have these 3 blue up. So it will put me down to 2 when I whir. However, if they try to crack the fetch and try to kill me, that buys me the time that I need to whir for a Witchbane Orb and win the game. If they don't crack the fetch and they just leave Grim Lavamancer up, that's gonna buy me time on to just take to my turn, and then I can just untap and I can whir with my third blue without taking that extra damage and get the Witchbane Orb. So either way, I've won the game at this point. So it's just which way am I going to win the game, and I had to think it all out, of course. And they cracked the fetch, so it's going to be that method. No matter what, they had a bad choice. They didn't necessarily know about it because they didn't know about the third whir. So that buys me time to go get the Witchbane, and that's going to be game. The opponent decides not to concede, though, so we play it out. And I'm feeling pretty confident, so I go ahead and just, mill them just to get the game over because I know that they're not going to give up. And I know that their only out is Eidolon. I'm eating those away easy. And it's just about every turn almost I'm getting another mill rock, making the luck even better. And as we go through, I'm counting for like because they don't want to concede. I'm like, okay, this is going to give me information, and I start looking at their fetch lands, and that's when I realize, oh, no Arid Mesa. But it tells me next game, well, I'm going to side out my needles. But if I ever had to, like if I get another needle or something, what I can name. I think my opponent actually misses a mill here too. I just didn't count. Yeah. And opponent, the opponent's got to know, and they concede. So we go to game 2. I do side in my 3 ley lines. I think I sided in 2 more brutalities to put the number to 4. 2 welding jars, and I think, is that it? I think so. And I sided out my needles. Sided out Damping Sphere and Grafdigger's Cage. I mean, Grafdigger's Cage would be nice against Ancient Grudge, but I'm not too worried about it, especially if I have 2 welding jars. Um, so I just gotta be careful with my mills. But I sided in all of the rest of my discard. I kept the discard plus I like increased my amount of discard, so I just wreck their hand if at all possible, and it ended up working out. So because I realized, and I wrote about this in the primer too, actually, citing in all of your discard against burn because they need those first, what, 9 cards to try to erase the win. And when I'm playing 4 brutalities and they just slew of discard on top of that, it's just tearing apart their hand, and it buys me so much time. Now, I did think that maybe there was an argument of not playing the opal here, so I can discard a 2 brutality if I really need to. But I wanted to play it anyways, just so I can get it out of my hand in case they have an Eidolon. And I might want that double white eventually for Leyline if I need it. Or I might need the extra artifact for a whir, and if my opponent plays an Eidolon, then I'm going to take in 2 damage I wouldn't otherwise have to take. Now, Guide is doing a great thing for me by filling my hand for the brutality. So I know my opponent doesn't have an Eidolon because they didn't play it. So I go for all 3 modes on the brutality and use that to stabilize. And I decided to take the bolt because that'll buy me time to try to play Witchbane Orb if I can. So Charm and Helix isn't gonna, work well. That, and if they draw a, I don't know, what's it called? Swift Spear. They can't get the extra damage out of it. So discard mode. Again, tearing apart their hand. So that's 2 discard spells, and really it was like freaking a ton because of that brutality. Kind of acted as 3 discard spells in 1, so it's 4 in all total. So I'll play my Lantern, and I'm at a pretty convenient 8 health here, and opponent has to top deck 3 burn spells to finish me off, and I have a Witchbane Orb in hand that I'm going to play next turn. So I'm feeling really good here. They held this, I'm guessing, because they wanted to get a, what's it called? A Swift Spear to try to get extra damage out of it because they need to soak every damage they can. Unfortunately, because it's oh yeah, it is an instant. They could have played it in response and sacked the land, but I guess they decided not to. So yeah, now I'm going to start gaining life, and I've got a pretty good thing going on. I draw the Pixis here, and I'm going to draw a Leyline because of that bobble. So I'm going to have double protection as far as hexproof, and I'm going to have the lock, and I'm going to be gaining life. That's really the game. My opponent wants to play it out some more, so I'm okay with that. Now, they could try to do some things with the fetches here, but I'm still not worried. So they shuffle, and they end up getting Destructive Revelry on top. They're like, oh, they don't want to do that. So really, the Revelry should get exiled here, but they decide to reshuffle. And then get him out, and I'm like, fine, whatever. Or actually, what was that? A Lavamancer. Yeah, fine, whatever. I mean, I guess really they kind of cheated, but I'm gonna win anyways. I don't care. So I drain life, get myself up to 15. There's no way they're coming back from this. And I draw Welding Jar, and they concede. All right.